So you want to be a bodybuilder? I did too. Before I got into bodybuilding, I didn't even know this world existed. I didn't even know what bodybuilders were. I didn't even know that was a thing that you could become. And now I have become a bodybuilder. I went from not even knowing that this existed to becoming a bodybuilder. Now I'm not a professional bodybuilder and I've never competed, but I live my day to day as if I am. I have completely transformed my physique from this to this, and I consider myself a bodybuilder. You don't necessarily have to have the pro status or compete to be a bodybuilder. You kind of just have to live the lifestyle as one. And I'm gonna tell you exactly how to do that. First, I'm gonna share my personal story, my background in becoming a bodybuilder, how I became a bodybuilder, and then I'm gonna tell you how you can become one too. Before wanting to become a bodybuilder, before even knowing what a bodybuilder was, I simply just wanted to change the way that I looked. I didn't like the way I looked. I didn't like the way I felt. I had literally no idea what I was doing. I didn't know how to eat. I didn't know how to train. I had no idea if I was supposed to be doing cardio or how much cardio I was supposed to be doing or what kind of cardio. So I did what everybody else did. I went to the internet. I watched all of the TikToks. I scrolled through all of the Instagram fitness feeds. I watched YouTube videos. I listened to fitness influencers. I tried random workouts, random diets, and every single one of them promised to fix me. And none of it worked. It was extremely exhausting. I was so confused all the time. I was just all over the place. But I did not quit. I knew that if I kept searching and giving effort, I would eventually find the thing that was for me. I knew that I would find the answer. And then I discovered bodybuilding. My brother was actually the one who got me into weightlifting and was the first one to show me what the Mr. Olympia was. He showed me the Mr. Olympia show and I was like, oh my gosh, there's no way that these people look like this. I didn't even know that it was possible to get your physique to that level. I was like, is this real? Is this a real thing? Is it realistic for somebody like me to achieve something like that or to change my physique? So after seeing what bodybuilders were, I just dove into the internet and looked up all the female bodybuilders that I could possibly find. I just felt like that was where I was supposed to be. I felt like that was the thing that I was going to do. That was the thing that I needed to immerse myself in. I had already started to fall in love with weightlifting because of my brother. We would go to the gym every single day, but I needed more. I needed to figure out how to change my physique. So the first thing I did was I found a bodybuilding gym in my area. The first one that popped up was Factory Gym in Buda, Texas. If anybody knows what Factory Gym is, it is the green gym in Austin, Texas. Well, south of Austin. So one day I just drove down there. I walked in and found the first female bodybuilder I could find. She was a bikini competitor. And I asked her, how do I do this? How do I become a bodybuilder? What do I need to do? Who do I need to talk to? And she was able to connect me with some other female bodybuilders and I was able to hire my first coach. And hiring my first bodybuilding coach was literally the best thing I ever did. That's just where everything changed and I found where I was supposed to be. I loved it. I fell in love with something. I went from guessing every day to having a solid plan. I went from randomly eating and dieting to structured meals and eating with intention. And I went from hoping for results to actually seeing weekly progress. The first thing that my coach and I did was get me on a solid meal plan. So I was eating 5 meals a day. I had to get used to that. I had to rebuild my metabolism and I needed to build muscle. I needed to build a solid base and put some actual muscle on my body. I spent about a year with my first coach just putting on muscle. I never dieted down. I just simply was in a slight surplus to build muscle. Protocols were eating 5 meals a day, focused on proteins, carbs, and fats. I was drinking a gallon a day and I was getting 10,000 steps a day. That was the basis of my protocols. And I did that for about a year and I was training 5 days a week. I had 2 lower body days and 3 upper body days. For just a year straight, I was focused on putting on muscle because that's what you have to do. If you want to change your physique, you need to put on muscle so then you can lose fat later. And that's how you morph your body, by putting on muscle in certain areas of your body to change the shape of your body. It sounds easy, but it's not. I spent a year with my first coach just building a really solid base. And then it was time to uncover all my progress. I needed to shed the fat and maintain the muscle while shedding the fat, which is the hard part. When I was going into my first cut, I was having some fat loss issues. I had to move to a different coach that was a functional health specialist just because my body needed a little bit of extra attention, special protocols to help get the fat off my body. So now I'm with my current coach who I've been with for 2 years. We did my first cut and I lost 35 pounds and then I went back into a surplus to again put on more muscle to build my frame even more than I did the first year. And then I did another cut and now I'm back into a surplus right now, building on the shape that I've been working on. Being a bodybuilder is a lot of eating and growing, stripping off the fat, and then eating and growing, and stripping off the fat and recomping. It's a lot of going in and out of surpluses and deficits. So I will show you where I was in the very beginning of my bodybuilding journey to where I am now. I am a completely different person from here to here. Everything in between has basically stayed the same. It's doing the same things over and over again for a very long period of time. It gets boring. It's boring and it's not easy, but if you're committed enough and if you have a will, there is always a way. If you're willing to commit to something like this, to changing yourself, like really commit, it'll be one of the most rewarding things you ever do for yourself. You'll feel so much pride and love for yourself if you are able to commit and stay consistent with it. So that's a little background of my personal story. I have so much more that I could share. It would take me hours to actually talk about the whole thing, but as I make more videos, I will be sharing more and more about my journey, where I am now and where I used to be and how I got there. So now I'm going to tell you how you can actually become a bodybuilder. The first thing you need to do is to decide what you are chasing. Why do you want to do this? Why are you doing this? What is your why? Do you want to look jacked year round? Do you want to look lean year round? Do you just simply want to change the way that you look? Do you just want to feel better in your body? Do you want to compete one day? Or do you just simply want to see how far you can push yourself? The second thing you need to do in order to become a bodybuilder is to train, and training with intention. Bodybuilding is not just going to the gym. It's actually going and training hard. You're gonna have to train 4 to 6 days a week. Currently, I train 4 days a week, and your focus is muscle growth, not ego lifting. You need to be able to take your sets to failure. You cannot be scared to go to failure in the gym if you want to grow. You have to be able to repeat the basics day to day over a very, very long period of time. You have to be able to love monotony. Third thing you need to do in order to become a bodybuilder is to eat more than you are comfortable with. And this is where most people quit, because eating is hard. That's why you should hire a coach. That's why you should hire somebody else to tell you what to eat, so you don't have to decide yourself. You don't have to second guess yourself. You don't have to think about it, because if somebody else is deciding for you, it takes away so much anxiety for you, because you know that you are able to trust somebody and pushing you towards your goals. If you want to put on muscle and change your physique, you have to eat. Muscle does not grow without eating, and muscle doesn't come from eating clean. It comes from eating enough. You're gonna need a calorie surplus. You're gonna need a lot of protein. You're gonna need good carbs to fuel your workouts, and fats to keep your hormones healthy. Yes, you're going to gain fat. Yes, it's going to mess with your head, but you cannot build muscle and change your body by starving yourself. Number 4, recovery. Rest is part of the work. Rest is part of the process. You don't actually grow in the gym, you grow outside of the gym. When you are in the gym training hard, you are breaking down your muscle. So later, when you go and rest and eat, you are repairing those muscles, which grow back bigger and stronger. So rest matters and sleep matters. Plus stress management. That is probably one of the most underrated things that people forget, stress management. Stress affects your body so much more than you actually think it does. So if you're constantly exhausted, sore, and hitting a constant plateau, you're most likely not recovering, and you're not recovering properly. That's why you should not be training 7 days a week. If you are somebody that's training 7 days a week, please stop. Please stop. You literally need to rest your body. You are going to go nowhere if you do not take rest days. I promise you. I have 3 rest days a week, and I prioritize the crap out of rest and sleep. Number 5 on how to become a bodybuilder. Track your progress. Track your progress. If you're not tracking, you're blindly guessing. Taking progress photos week by week and weighing yourself every single day is probably the best way that you can track your progress. That way you can track your body weight trends over time. If you're progressing properly, you should be changing every 6 to 8 weeks. And if you're not seeing any changes within that amount of time, there's something off, and it's most likely food. Your diet is 80% of this whole thing. Number 6, you cannot compare yourself to other bodybuilders. This is huge because everybody does it. Most beginners fail because they are training like pros, and they are comparing themselves to those who are way more advanced than them. And by doing that, you're just gonna get frustrated with yourself and you're gonna burn out really quickly. If you're at level 3, you cannot compare yourself to somebody at level 20. That's not fair to yourself. And you're also never going to look like that person, even if you get to level 20. Your level 20 will never look like somebody else's level 20. Be real with where you're at and accept where you are in your journey. You do not need to be like anybody else, because you will never, ever be like anybody else. You can only be the best you. All you really need to do to become a bodybuilder is to be patient with yourself and stay consistent. Find a diet that works for you. Highly recommend hiring a coach. Train hard. Track your shit. Be real with yourself, be real with where you're at, and just move forward. Be disciplined, be patient, Be intentional with what you're doing. You don't become a bodybuilder by stepping on stage and competing. You become a bodybuilder when you stay consistent and disciplined for years. When you show up every single day doing the same basic, boring things over and over again, no matter your emotion, no matter how hard it is, no matter how little progress you feel like you're actually making, when you are able to stick to it over a very long period of time and actually make progress, that's when you become a bodybuilder. Being a bodybuilder is hard. Becoming a bodybuilder is hard. It's all just hard, but you get to choose your hard. If this is something that you want to do, you absolutely can do it. Anybody can do it. It's just how much are you willing to give and how long are you willing to give? You're gonna feel small even when you're big. You're gonna feel fat even when you're lean. The progress is gonna feel really slow some days, and comparison is gonna mess with your head if you let it. Bodybuilding is going to challenge your discipline. It's going to expose your resilience. But if you just stick with it, it will change your life. So that is my little spiel on bits and pieces of how to become a bodybuilder. I will go into further depth with some of these topics in other videos, but I just wanted to tell you, if you want to become a bodybuilder, if you want to get fit, if you want to change your physique, if you want to lose fat, if you want to lose weight, you absolutely can. It is possible for anybody to do this. It really just comes down to dieting properly, training hard, and just sticking with it. Being consistent over a long period of time is really the key to all of this. Be patient with yourself, but also push yourself. If you found this helpful or encouraging, please like this video. And if you are on your bodybuilding journey or fitness journey or any kind of wellness journey, please subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.